What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Today I'm going to be bringing to you my May 2015 LA Regional Shaddoll deck profile. I didn't get a chance to record this right when I got back from LA, so I figured what a better time than now. So, overall, I love this deck, but I ended up going X3, mainly because I'm such a scrub and Rogue is too good. So, I'll get into that at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and do the deck profile first, because that's what everyone really wants to see. So to start off with, we have 3 copies of Shaddoll Beast. Now, a lot of players have been cutting this card down to 2, and I actually like this card at 3. I like the extra draw power, and especially since at the event there were a lot of Shaddoll players, having the 3rd Beast I felt was really important for tributing over fusions in the mirror match, things like that. I was never dissatisfied with 3 Beasts. I always had it when I needed it, and it was never dead. Then we have 3 copies of Falco. I mean, Falco at this point is just staple at 3, and it's just so good. It puts you so far ahead. It can just get you so many pluses every turn if used correctly. Using it with Construct, I mean, it's just, oh, Falco's so good. And the fact that it's a tuner, you can just use so much with Falco. And then we have 3 copies of Squamata, another card that some players are putting at 2. I like being able to mill, I guess, a little bit more recklessly than most people, and it's good because it helps get you to your power cards like BLS or your fusions or really just anything that you want to see and thin your deck out as much as you can. And it's also a Jin out, so you can just set it and it's there to flip up as you will. Next up, 2 copies of Shaddoll Hedgehog. Now, I am playing the Mistake build, so some people are probably going to be wondering if this conflicted with Mistake a lot, and I really don't think it did whatsoever. If you're playing correctly, you'll want to flip this, get your fusion, then go ahead and use Mistake. But if you're playing against like Necros, you might not have the opportunity to do that. But in either case, that's okay. It never conflicted for me at all. Some people choose to play 1 of this. I feel like 2 is okay. I would never play more than 2, though. I mean, that might be a little bit much. And to wrap up the Shaddoll lineup, we have 1 copy of Shaddoll Dragon. Dragon's good because, again, it's another Jin out. It's 1900, which is a pretty big beat stick for level 4. And being able to just pop cards in the end phase is just really strong. And especially, or you can use it off Mathematician. It's just, I wouldn't really recommend playing more than 1 unless you want to kind of go more rank 4 focused. But I feel like you do need to play the 1 at least. Especially now with Lose a Turn and Cleese being a thing again. So that's it for the Shaddoll lineup. For the Mathematician lineup, we have 3 copies of Mathematician. This is just the card you want to see every game, no matter what, because he's just your power play catalyst. He's just so strong. If you can have a really strong established board turn 1 without using Mathematician, a turn 2 Mathematician is incredibly powerful because it will set you so far ahead in combination with Falco or anything else. Sinister Shadow games, just that whole combo is just, that will put you like 2 to 3 turns ahead of your opponent, and they won't be able to stop you at that point. You will be so far ahead. Then for the Light Engine, we have 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is basically, it's everything you want in Shaddolls. It negates effects from the hand, so your opponent can't really like pop it unless they use like Mind Crush. It's a tuner, so you can use it with like Shaddoll Core to go ahead and make a Leo. And it's a light, so it's construct food. I mean, the synergy is just perfect. And playing 3 is just good because you want to have outs to Trish. You just want to have the outs to everything, essentially. And I finally picked up 1 ulti, so 2 more. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Then, to continue the light lineup, we have 1 Artifact Lancia, which was the tech. I hated this card, mainly because I played 1 Necros, and the 1 Necros I played, I didn't even use it. The only time I did use this was against a Volcanic player to stop him from using Blaze Accelerator Reload on my turn. But other than that, this card was dead the whole time. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I wish this was Felice. Oh man, I think I died a little inside there. 1 BLS. BLS is just God. I mean, I think I only used him twice, but both times I did, I pretty much won. I mean, you're playing Shaddolls, and you have Darks and Lights. I mean, you play BLS. Finally, the 1 Thunder King. Thunder Kings are really good because, I mean, it's a light, obviously. But it acts as your 3rd copy of Mistake, or your 4th if you're playing 3. Because it's just, it'll stop your opponent if you're playing Necros, Satellar Knights, anything that's very search heavy. And plus you can use it to negate summons. So it's such a good card all around. Having it on legs, I think I used this against Satellars round 2, and I think it pretty much won me that 1 game. So it's so good. That's it for the monsters. I think it's like 20, 21, something like that. Get into the spells. 3 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion. This is the best fusion. I mean, it's quick play, it's chainable, it's the best fusion. There's no doubt about it. 2 copies of regular fusion. Some people might question if I would bump this up to 3. I feel like you could side the 3rd copy, because, like, unless you're playing a lot of mirror matches, or maybe, like, a lot of Burning Abyss, I really don't feel like you need more than 2, especially because I'm playing the 6th fusion, which is Nef Shaddoll Fusion. Now, Nef Shaddoll Fusion, let's talk about this card for a second. A lot of people are on the fence about it, and there's a reason for it. So, some people say you might as well play Mind Control over Nef Shaddoll Fusion. And the logic is simple. You know, you can Mind Control an opponent's Necros, and then you can fuse for, let's say, you know, an Annoyatilis. Or you can Mind Control a Dark or a Light to make Wind Error Construct, respectively. The only flaw with that, and I'll agree, that's really good, but the only flaw with that is that it requires it requires your opponent to be playing how you want them to play. Whereas Nef Shaddoll Fusion allows you to make your fusions on your terms. One thing I love about Nef Shaddoll Fusion that I think a lot of people kind of overlook is that if you open like this, like freaking all your Shaddoll monsters in hand, you can just summon one and then Nef Shaddoll, turn it into a light, and you have Construct. I mean, it has a lot of versatility to it. I'm not discounting the Mind Control theory, and I think Mind Control it's a really good argument. But I feel like Nef Shaddoll also has its own role as well. And I did a sick combo against the Necros player. I hit a 3 chain link where it was Squamata, Falco, and Construct. So Construct sent this, and then my Falco special summoned itself. So my field is Construct, Falco, and then Squamata sent Core to add this to my hand. And this is main phase 2 in time. So what I did was then I Nef Shaddolled the Construct into water and fused for Annoyatilis. But the opponent just couldn't do anything at that point because it was just, he's locked and he had no outs. So I ended up winning the match because of that. And so that was really cool. And that's what even just made me fall in love with this card even more. So that's it for the fusions. That was pretty cool. For the one-ofs, One Book of Moon, I utterly hated this card. The only time I used it was against Burning Abyss just to, you know, flip one of the BAs and make them all destroy themselves. But other than that, this card was so subpar. I mean, it's a Jin out, I understand. And there's, you know, you're playing a deck of flip effects, so you might want to use it for stuff like that. Or the Mirror Match, you know, you can flip one of your fusions over so their Shaddoll Fusion fizzles. But every time I had it, it was just like, I wished it was some other card. You know, maybe Mind Control, I don't know. But it was just, going forward, I would have to think about Book of Moon in the main still. Dark Hole, I could have had a second Dark Hole. I really don't know. But Dark Hole, obviously, you're Jin out. Foolish Burial. Some Shaddoll players are cutting this card as well, but I like having the ability to tutor pretty much anything in the deck. It's just Foolish Burial, I still love it. It's still good. And then finally for the spells, 1 Regeki, because Regeki is one of the best cards in the game right now. So that's it for the spells. On to the traps. We have 3 beautiful mismatching copies of Breakthrough Skill. Let your OCD settle in with that one. Breakthrough Skill is just incredible, and in tandem with the 3 copies of Effect Veiler, it does so much work. Like, you can negate several effects a turn, and your opponent will, like, think, oh, he might have 1 out, but he's not going to expect you to have, like, 2 or 3 outs. Like, it's just, oh, it's so good. Being able to negate Unicore to make your constructs online and stuff like that is really important, as well as negating Winda in the Mirror Match. There's so many different applications for Breakthrough Skill. I was so happy that I was running it at 3. It was so good. Then for 2 copies of Mistake. I think 3 is too much, especially in a meta where it's not like 100% Necros. Because like I said, there was a lot of Shaddoll players there, and this card is a blank card against Shaddolls. So I felt the 2 was alright, and it was perfect. You know, I had it against Necros, I had it against Satellers. I even used it against Burning Abyss because he was playing the Ritual spell, and so when he went to activate it to add a card to his hand, I just flipped this, and that was kind of funny. So Mistake is Mistake. Then we have 2 copies of Sinister Shadow Games. This card, in combination with Falco and Mathematician, just puts you, it's insanely far ahead. Again, I wouldn't recommend this card being at 3, because you don't, like, always want to see it. You only want to see it if you have, like, Mathematician. It's really good, but it's in the right amount of doses. In moderation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it was so good nonetheless. Then for the one-ofs, we have the 1 Crush card, which I decided to main. This card was a blowout against Necros and Satellar Knights. I hit them for 4 and 5 respectively with Crush Card. Like against the Satellar player, I hit like 2 Assault Halberds, a Altair, and 2 Altairs, 2 Halberds, and a Deneb. And he lost at that point. And Necros, I did the same thing. I hit like Valk, Decisive Armor, Brio, and like one other card. But it was just, Crush Card is just so good. Like if you're playing BA or Shaddoll, main this card. You can always side it out. It's just, since Necros is dominant, this card just is auto-win. The one Shaddoll core, obviously, because you want to get your fusions back, because who doesn't want to do that? And then the one copy of Vanity's Emptiness. This was a card that actually differed from me and P-Bunny and our group of friends lists that were playing Shaddolls. They decided not to play Vanities, but I did, just because, I mean, against Necros with an established board, you basically win if you Vanities, and they don't have the out, so I just liked having that Vanities in there. So that's it for the main deck. It is 41 cards, I believe, and which is fine, because, you know, if you're playing 40, I mean, you're playing a deck that mills so much, having 41, you can kind of deal with that. For the extra deck, we have 3 copies of Construct, which is just the best Shaddoll ever. Like, this card needs no explanation. The pluses this card can generate is just so ridiculously dumb. 2 copies of Winda. I played BA round 1, and I feel like the only time you ever need 3 Windas if you're playing, like, an ass load of BA. But other than that, I think you're pretty much okay with 2. 2 copies of Shekinaga. I made Shekinaga, I think, 2 times, and it wasn't even, like, relevant. Like, it was just kind of for the extra damage. But Shekinaga is still really good, nonetheless. And then, finally, the one Annoy Attilis, which I had to pick up at the event, which was kind of funny. Annoy Attilis against Necros is just so dumb. This card is just incredible. And like I said, the combo I did earlier was just so good. But this card is just, it's incredible. There's really nothing else you can say. You can also use this against Satellar Knights to stop them from using Call the Haunteds on Denebs and Altairs, which is kind of a neat thing. I mean, I didn't use it, but I mean, there's other applications outside of Necros. So that's it for the fusions. For the Synchros, we have the one Arcanite Magician, which I made, I believe, twice. And, you know, popping 2 cards for free is kind of cool, so that was really good. And then you have a light target for Construct, so that's pretty nice. 1 Armades, I think I made Armades once, and I think it got, like, killed or banished or sent back to the extra deck. Something happened, like, that I never got to actually use Armades. 1 Black Rose, which I just want to show off. I picked up a beautiful Ultimate Rare Black Rose while I was at the event. So thanks to that guy. I didn't make Black Rose, though, so it was kind of disappointing. I never got to use it, but I had it. Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. This is another card that differed from our lists. This card is just nuts. I mean, against Shaddolls and Necros, this card just basically says no. In the Shaddoll mirror, it's never came up, but what you can do is you can make this. You can attack into their construct. You can make it so that you negate the construct's effect and then destroy the construct, and then this card becomes 5,300. Like, that is just absolutely nuts. So I was really wanting to see if I could pull that off, but I never did. So it's unfortunate, but again, it also is good against Necros as well, because it can negate the effects of Necros monsters since they're over level 5. 1 Goyo Guardian, which again, I picked up an Ulti Goyo Guardian, which is just utterly beautiful. I actually made this, I think, once or twice. The only time I remember making it is against BA. I think I stole, like, his, like, Alucard or something. And then I used it as Shaddoll Fusion food to make Winda on his turn, so then he couldn't play. So, that was fun. Goyo is just cool. 1 Leo. I might have made Leo once, and I don't even remember how I did it, but it was just, Leo's Leo. I need to pick up a super. And then for the extra, or the Xyz monsters, 1 Exciton. I'm not even playing that heavy of a level 4 lineup, so I mean, this could be anything. This could be Castell, this could be whatever you want it to be. It's questionable. I never made it, so I mean, but it's just there because board wiping is board wiping. So that's it for the extra. I'll quickly go through the side since we're about 15 minutes. 2 copies of Lila. So this is really funny. So P-Bunny was telling me about this when I got into LA. He's like, we should side this. And the reason for that is if you're playing against back row heavy decks like Satellar Knights and stuff, 1, it'll bait out those cards that'll like negate effects. And 2, if not, you'll just pop their cards for free. and you can also attack over stuff in the meantime, because Lila's 1700, and that's a pretty formidable number. So this card was just so good. Popping back row was so amazing, and when people saw me drop Lila, they were just like, wow, that's a good card. So, I mean, moving forward, this is something Shaddoll players might want to consider. And then plus milling the Shaddolls in the end phase nets you cards as well, so it's not bad. 2 copies of Max C. This is for decks that, like, Effect Veiler's kind of bad against, like Burning Abyss. You could also side against Necros if you so choose. I don't remember siding in a whole lot, because like I said, I played a lot of Rogues, so it kind of sat in the extra deck a lot. Speaking of sitting in the extra deck, 2 copies of Defusion. I didn't play the Mirror once, so that was kind of unfortunate. 2 copies of MST. This is for, you know, Floodgates, lose a turn, anything like that. MST is just there to help me out. And then the Mind Control in the side deck. I would consider maining this. Mind Control is just really good. Like I said, stealing Necros monsters, stealing really anything. It's never, whatever you steal, Mind Control is really never a dead card. And then, we'll move that out of the way. 2 copies of Fairy Wind, same logic as MST. You want to pop Lose a Turn, Vanities, Fiendish Chain, Call the Haunted, you name it, Fairy Wind's going to pop it. Plus the burn damage might come in handy at some point. 2 copies of Mind Crush. I mean, we kind of went overkill with searching, but, you know, preventing searching, I guess you can say, with the mistakes and the Mind Crushes. But, you know, it's really good. If you want to get Valk out of the hand, something like that, Mind Crush is there. The third mistake for Necros, arguably, you could say Satellar Knights as well. Against Necros, it's too good. And then finally, the 1 copy of Solemn Warning, which the whole purpose this is in here is because if you go against anything with Denko, since you play 10 traps, I think, in the main, and then you also play 3 El Shaddoll, you want to be sure that you can get rid of that Denko, and that's basically your way to do it. So that is going to be it, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I had a lot of fun playing this deck, and moving forward, I mean, I'm just going to keep enjoying it, because this deck is just so much fun. It's so skillful. There's so many different interactions you could do with the deck. It's just, oh, I love it. So thank you all so much for watching the video, and we will see you next time. Kind of just realized I forgot to go into my matchup, so do that really quickly. Round 1 was against BA. I 2-0'd him, you know, Shaddolls is against BA, that's your easiest matchup, no problems there. Round 2 was against Satellar Knights. Game 1, he made Diamond on me like turn 2. Game 2, I crush carded him for 5, which was kind of fun. And then Game 3, he Diamonded me again, and I did not have an out, so that was unfortunate. Round 3 was against Necros, and I 2-0'd him. Our Game 1 took like 30 minutes, which was like nuts, but obviously it's Necros. And then I crush carded him for like 5, and then obviously I told you about the Anoia Tillis play, which was a lot of fun. Round 4 was against Klee, I believe, and I just opened like disgustingly good. Like, he had 0 chance against me. Like, I had every out to his out. I was so far ahead of him, like, with Mathematician, Falco, and just, like, I had everything I needed. Like, my field was just disgusting. Round 5 is when it started going downhill. Round 5 was against Volcanics, and Volcanics is not a very nice deck. Let me just say that, because there was a few instances where it was just, like, blah. I mean, I went to go, like, he went to go scattershot my field, and I went to, I El Shaddalled for Winda, and then he went lose a turn, so then Winda died. So that was like, and I had like no resources left at that point. And then Game 2, I summoned Squamata, he goes to bottomless it, I chain El Shaddall, and then he chained Shadow Mirror, so then I went like neg3, which was lovely, by the way. So that was that. I got like utterly raped. And then round 6 was against Evil Swarm of all things. And I'm just like, good God, this is not good. And so game 1, he starts off with Ophion, of course, and I open with like 4 fusions in hand, like 4 fusion like spells. So I'm like, all right, let's go to game 2. And then game 2, it was just a constant uphill battle. Like, I was just fighting against his floodgates. He had Shadow Mirror, macro, DeFi, and just after a while, it was just bad. Like, there was nothing I could do. So that was how I ended up scrubbing out at the LA Regional, was by the hand of Rogue. So once again, thank you all so much for watching the video. Sorry this one was a bit long, but obviously I'd like to discuss my stuff in depth. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.